So speaking about like the basic stuff, let's do the very first basic settings that we need to do in our Revit file. So every time that I open up the file, those are the very basic setups that I have to do to just make sure that everything goes smooth. So in order to do that, the very first of all is your unit setup, right? So in whatever sort of project that you come, you always have to make sure that the unit is already set up. How to set up our unit? It's actually pretty easy. You just go on the Manage tab up there. And then here, as you can see, we're having project units. So just like scroll them between you find the project unit, you click on it, and as you can see, this tab will pop up, right? So if you just click on project unit, you'll be seeing this window getting on. Here, as you can see, just like next to length, we're having the millimeter unit or the icon up there. So if I want to change my unit and like put it as a meter one, what I have to do is to just like simply click there. So simply click there. And as you can see, the other window will pop up. Instead of millimeter, I'm just like putting it on meters. And instead of like the decimal places, what I'm going to do is to just put it on 2 decimal places, right? As easy as. And then for the unit symbol, I just choose to go with what I have. Right now, this is not meters. So I make sure to put it on meters. And as you can see, the unit symbol M will show up. So 2 decimal places, unit symbol M, meters, and we're good to go. So as you can see, here the number will get changed to meters, and like the symbol M will also show up, right? As easy as you can. So if I click on OK right now, as you can see, all my unit, all my numbers and everything will turn into meters, right? Also, there's another way to get to there, which is actually like pretty more easier. Instead of like going to Manage tab and then Project Units, what I can do is to simply press the shortcut UN. So on your keyboard, just press UN. And as you can see, the Project Unit window will also like be showing up. Then again, you can click there, put it on meters, 2 decimal places, unit symbol M, and click on OK, right? So it is as easy as you can see. So that's the way how we're supposed to set up our units. Just like one important other thing that like needs to mention is that it is also important that what you're technically set up your unit with. So right now, what I'm setting up my unit is for the common discipline, meaning that just like working on the common object and like stuff that you're involved with, like in Revit. However, I can put it on structural. I can put it on like HVAC or something. Let's say if I put it on HVAC, then I would be able to customize, let's say, some other parameters. Let's say, for example, my dot size, I would rather to have my dot size on millimeters or on, let's say, decimal inches. However, this wouldn't change the unit of our project. So even if I put this on decimal inches and I click on OK, still I would be having my common tab here under meters. So this is actually a pretty good flexibility that Revit has, which technically allows you to have different items and like elements under different units. You might want to have your walls like under meters, but you might rather to have your dots with decimal inches, right? So you can still have them on both, into your file. But like since right now we're working with the architectural stuff, there's no need to go there, and you just like get stick with the common and just make sure to have this on meters, decimal places, M, and that's it. You're all good. So that's how we're supposed to handle the unit symbol. Any question? The shortcut is UN, guys.
It seems we are good to go.
Perfect. Okay.
Sam, Anna has raised her hand. Maybe she has a question.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you make it fast?
Yeah. Very small question. If you change the units, do they like they change like midway from your project? Like you decide that you want like millimeters,
You
they
can switch.
convert. They just convert, right? They don't.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. No
Okay.
problem at all. Like you can switch your unit to whatever sort of unit that you wish, um, at whatever point of like the project. Yet
Okay.
doesn't
Okay.
make any sort of problem on it. Good
Thank you.
question.
Thanks.
No worries. So let's right now go through the levels. Another setting which is super important and it is super essential for our project is to know how to set up our code levels, meaning like the floor levels that later on we're supposed to build stuff on it. As you can see right now, since we only have level 1 and level 2, those are the levels or the floor plans views that you can see or visible under the floor plan. The difference is 4 meters, like obviously. Now let's right now like go through that stuff. Say that like that being said, how we're supposed to modify and like change our code level. So it's actually pretty easy again. Just what is super important and what is essential is to get my hand over one of these elevations. Just like choose like a random elevation, doesn't matter which one you go with. So I'm just going to go with north. So once you double click technically on north elevation on your project browser, as you can see, north will show up, right? Here, as you can see, I'm having level 1, level 2. First of all, if I wish to just change the elevation as what I have, meaning that I don't want to add another level or something, I just wish to have level 2 with a different height. So what I can do is just like double click on the number or on the height that I have. For example, I can just put it on 3.20 as I'm working with meter unit. So if I like press the enter on it, as you can see, the elevation changes from 4 meters to 3.20. As you can see, like pretty easy. And even if you try to have, let's say, for example, a level or like something with like lower than the ground floor, then what happens is that you can easily like do that with using the minus value. So for example, instead of like 0, I want to have -1. So as you can see, this is level 1 is right now 1 meter lower than the like 0 ground level. So that's the way how you guys can do stuff too. I want to like switch back right now to 0. So I want to put it at 0 is what it is. And now let's see how we will be able to add more levels. So that's the way how you can modify, let's say, the height and stuff. Also, you would be able to change name. For example, what if I want to have level 1 but ground floor? So, or like RC. So just like simply again, double click on level 1 or on the tag and like put, for example, RC. Hit enter. Now, this is actually a very good question, like pop up here. So if you want to have the level name changed on your floor plan, then you have to go with yes. However, if you still wish to have the same name up there, but here getting changed, you have to go with no. So again, it is very important if you want to make sure that everything is actually like connected with each other, meaning that whatever you're seeing there, it's actually on your elevation view there too. So then like you have to go with yes. So as you can see, instead of level 1, I'm having right now RC. And then like since level 2 is the same, I'm still having it under level 2. For example, I can again click on there and put it as level 1 or floor 1 or story 1. Again, I put it on yes and hit the enter. Right? As you can see, all the names are getting changed. So that's how easy you can modify tag like name tags and like heights and stuff. Now let's add more levels. So if I want to add levels, I simply go on the architecture tab, right? That's how I'm supposed to do it. And then here on the datum tab, I can see the icon for level, right? So if I just simply go on architecture tab, it's up there, level. I simply click on level. at right now, what I'm supposed to do is to add another level. I can either go with line or with the peak line. I would suggest to go with peak lines because it's more legitimate. It's like more easier to handle stuff with it. So I'll go with the peak lines. Here, once you simply choose the peak lines, then you can technically put on the offset value, right? Because I want to like create new levels with just helping off offset value, right? So you put on whatever sort of like offset that you wish, and then like you put it on the existing level, and boom, like the new level simply occurs. Like it's super easy. So I'm just gonna, for example, go with another 3.20 level. So that's the plan. I wanna have another level, which technically gonna be 6.40, right? From the ground floor and 3.20 from level one. So if I bring my point viewer without like holding anything or like doing something, like I'm not clicking on something, right? Just like bringing the point viewer on level one, you can see the blue cut lines, right, getting appeared up there. So this means that if I click on it, another level will going to show up over level one. So let's click on it. As you can see, level two shows up with 6.40, right? Now, what happens if I keep going on? For example, if I just like simply bring my point viewer on this level, meaning again level two, and click on it, as you can see, again, another level will show up with 9.16, right? Also, I can do the same thing with bringing the point viewer down there, right? So if I simply bring my point viewer over the RC1, as you can see, depends on the way how you bring your point viewer. Right now, the blue cut lines is over, it's exactly on top of level one, meaning exactly like lying over the level one. So if I click on it, I will duplicate the level, which actually comes to no use, right? It's just like an duplication, which like I don't want to have that because it causes like more error. So what I'm supposed to do is to make sure that the blue cut lines, it's getting lower than the RC floor, right? Because I wish to have like an underground floor. So always and always keep an eye over this blue cut line. It is very important to where you're having this blue cut line, right? So I'm putting it down there and click on it. So as you can see, I'm having another level with 3.2. At this point, you're supposed to get out of the order because otherwise you would keep continuing doing more levels. So always and always make sure to click on modify or like press unscape so you would be out of the order. Now, what I have to do is to simply just make sure that the level here would be fine. So for example, what I want to do is put here as level -1, right? Just hit the enter button, click on yes, and as you can see right now, we're having four different layers. I mean, like 5 different levels with different heights, right? RC level -1, level 3, 2, and 1. So also, as you can see, they're getting alphabetically organized. So they're not getting organized the way how we are having the actual levels on. So that's another like important thing to observe, right? So just like you can navigate between the different floor levels and choose whichever that you want to go with. So that's easy, the way how you're supposed to set up your level. Just one more thing that I wish to add to it, and then after on we can ask your questions, is that suppose that we are having two levels like close to each other, because sometimes that happens, right? For example, if I'm having another level here, again with peak lines, and what I'm going to do is to put it, for example, at 6.20 or 3.20. Peak line, 3.20. And for example, I want to have it here, right? So 3.20, let's put it 3 meters, be more visible. So as you can see, this floor level that it's supposed to be show up it's actually like super close to our third level. So if I click on it, as you can see, we're having like some conflicts seeing different levels. So at this point, what is suggested is to click on that, let's say, floor level that you're having, and there you actually have like an elbow thing. So if I click on that elbow thing, then what you can do is you can simply adjust the height of that floor tag, right? So for example, I can do the same thing to both. You click on it, you just like click on that elbow, you put that off, and as you can see right now, you can differentiate between different flows, like floors that you have. And also like I can change this name. But like I don't wish to have this level. But if I would, then simply you can just rename that and do the like the same routine that we always. Also, if you put that down, the elbow thing would be just like disappear the way how it is. So that's the way how it functions. Perfect. Now let's get stick to the questions. Guys, could you please fill me up with the questions?
Sam, there was a question about hypothetical levels, whether we can use levels or planes. And the other question is about using Control C, the traditional method, in order to copy paste the levels.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I missed the first question. What was like the first question?
Mahir asked about when we want to define a hypothetical level, should we use the levels or we define a plane?
Mm-hmm. Well, that like highly depends on like
Yeah.
the comment and like the stuff that you're aiming to do. So for now, I would suggest to just get stick with the levels. But like for example, it happens that like you want to add like a lamp like somewhere on the wall. So for that purpose, not always like you're supposed to do another level, right? You can just like offset that component that you're having, which will be getting there. But like if you'll be having like something, let's say for example, you're having like some ceiling lamps that are supposed to get stick to an particular, let's say, floor level, then like I would 100% suggest to have like a specific floor level, right? So as long as like it's getting concerned with more stuff, then like it's always better to create like its own level. And to answer like the other question, I would say if you're dealing with an high rise and you want to copy paste like more different sort of like floor levels on, definitely you can do some sort of like on. If you go on modify, you will have like array, or we can just simply copy paste stuff. Let's do that. So a way of like doing copy paste on levels is to just like hold control and drag that element off. So if I just like hold the control on, like the control button on my keyboard, and then drag or hold that level up, I would be able to make a duplicate or like a copy of like the existing level, as you can see. But the important point is that as you can see, that level looks into black and white, is not getting into blue and white. So that is like very important. So this means that we are yet not having that level showing up there, right? Because Revit doesn't recognize it as a level. To just make sure that Revit knows this as a level, first of all, change the tag name to just like how what you're supposed to have, for example, level 4. And then you have to come to view. If I'm not wrong, it should be on view or on manage. Yeah, on view here. I'm having something called plan views. So you have to come to the plan views, floor plan, and simply click on this one. So Revit already recognized that, okay, we're having this level, but yet doesn't count as a level. So you choose it and you do the comment to turn that into an actual level. So click on it, and as you can see, this floor turns into blue and white, meaning that right now we are having an actual level under level. So that's also like something useful for, let's say, in doing high rises. Any more questions, or we're good?
We should be good. I can't see any hand.
I think someone also asked about the lock item beside the levels. What does it do?
Long items.
Lock.
The lock item that when we select the levels, there's a lock check
Oh,
mark.
okay.
Yes, the locker.
That's actually a good question. So here we're having some sort of like symbols, right? So for example, here, if I wish to navigate the different levels, left to right, since they're locked, they would moving all together. Now, if you open up that lock, then technically you would let that thing to like move more flexibly. So it depends on whether like like turn on the lock on or off. So if you turn any sort of lock on, then and turn that on. As you can see here, I would be able to just like change the length of like this floor level separately. But since this is not the case for us, I would rather to keep it always locked. Also, you can always check that off and for example, check that on here. Again, in terms of like having closed and sort of like closed levels together. So you would rather like, or let's say different level discipline. For example, I'm having like mechanical discipline for the levels, and I'm having like the structural, the architectural. So you keep the mechanical there, you keep like the architectural there. So this stuff would come to our eye like more half the way through the project. So I hope you guys find this video useful, and please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done it yet, as I'm always constantly updating the contents to make sure that you guys are getting to learn new stuff and tricks. Thank you.